Man, I just love this Macho King era of Randy Savage. I had that question asked to me the other day. Did I prefer, the Macho King, the Macho Man, or the Macho Man when he sort of went to the jackets and cowboy hats?
Hmm.
And I would even add a fourth version there. And I would say, like, the WCW Madness era, where it was all black and white.
Right.
If you had sort of to think about those four categories of his career, call it WrestleMania 3, WrestleMania 4, traditional Macho Man, and then Macho King, sort of WrestleMania 6 era. And then you would see like 7, 8, 9, that's all cowboy hats and pants. And then the WCW Macho Madness, I got three ladies with me. I'm as big as a house. I'm all black and white. Can you rank those for me as your favorites of the Macho Man iterations?
Well, to me, when I think about the Macho Man, I think about the early Macho Man, which would be, I guess, the first couple of WrestleManias, so 4, 5, and 6. Would that be right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go with the Macho King, and then I would go with Macho Man with the cowboy hat, and then I would go with the WCW Macho Man.
I'm probably the OG Macho Man, WrestleMania 3, 4, 5,
Right,
number one,
right.
King second. And then I'm probably the WCW Macho and then the cowboy hat. I can't get into cowboy hat Macho Man.
Okay. Well, we're
I
we're
don't know why
close.
I can't. It's irrational.
Well, we're close. So we have the same number one and number two.
When he starts wrestling in pants, it feels like, wait, this isn't the same.
Yeah, I
And when
get
he's
that.
wrestling in a shirt, it's like, wait, this isn't the same. And
Yeah.
instead of, I like the bandana, that was cool. I like the crown, that was cool. The cowboy hat, I'm like, I don't know about that. Now I know he's wearing cowboy boots too, but still, why do you think cowboy boots have become such a big deal in wrestling? Like you and I just watched a bonus episode for WHW Monday Patreon. That's patreon.com/WHW Monday. We watched the first Hell in a Cell with Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker.
Right.
It's sort of the forgotten Hell in a Cell from 2002. It was October of '02. And it's the one where Paul Heyman's actually bleeding buckets. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you go watch it with Tony and I right now at patreon.com/WHW Monday. But he's wearing cowboy boots. And we know that Savage wore cowboy boots. And I don't know, it just feels like lots of people in wrestling, they didn't have to be from Texas. Like when John Layfield wears cowboy boots and a suit, it's like, well, he's from Texas. I get that. But
Right.
Savage wasn't.
Well,
Paul Heyman wasn't. Why do you think cowboy boots are a big deal in wrestling?
I don't know. Maybe it's because back then they had good it was good structure and good support for the ankles. That's the only thing I can think of. But I don't think you see that much of it now. That Dustin still does, obviously. And you know what? I was thinking about the Von Erich boys. One goes barefooted like his dad. The other one, I can't remember what Marshall does, or is it Ross? One of the
Yeah,
two.
Ross and Marshall. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know if Ross wears cowboy boots or not, but I don't think cowboy boots are as prominent now as they were at one time. And I think with Dusty and with Dustin and with Barry Windham, they were Texans, so it was part of their Texan gear. Why Paul Heyman wore cowboy boots, I have no idea. Maybe fat fits in better into cowboy boots than it does shoes. I don't know.
God damn, you hate that motherfucker, don't you?
Hey, what? No, who are you talking about?
Paul Heyman.
Him?
You
Oh, he's
bury
a.
every chance you get.
He, I didn't bury him. He's one of the greatest talkers ever in the business. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I got you.
Yeah, yes. Just
That's my bad. I apologize. You
yeah,
ain't got to get hot about it.
yeah. But you just don't know how feet will fit in the boots. Sometimes your
That'd be a
ankles
great
swell.
time to talk about Tecovas, but they didn't advertise this week. So
Okay. Uh, sometimes your ankles swell. Sometimes you walk a lot and your toes swell up. And sometimes you got bunions or corns, or sometimes you just got deformed feet. And sometimes they'll just fit right in a cowboy boot better than they wear a regular shoe. I would think.
Let me ask you,
or
there was a
a
discussion.
blister. You could have a blister on the bottom of your toe,
Let's talk about something.
or you could have fat feet or corn.
That's right.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, don't have anything.
No, I'm sorry. I'm finished with the feet.
No. Listen, everybody knows that you got a big foot fetish. I mean, it's been well established. No, every time I'm in AEW, they're like, "Don't let Schiavone start asking for feet pics," and I'm like, "What?" And
Yeah.
it's just a whole thing. It takes on a life of its own.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
It was discussed earlier today on wrestling Twitter. Friends or Seinfeld?
Seinfeld.
Okay,
Friends was great, but Seinfeld was classic, right?
agree.
Yeah. I mean, can you find a better character than George Costanza?
No,
He's like, to me, he's like character number one of all time TV. So, and I thought Friends was funny. It was very well written, but come on, Seinfeld. I guess there are people out there that said Friends.
I'm sure there's a couple idiots. I know that our daughter Morgan, she's a big Friends fanatic. Like whenever I come home from work, if she's home from school, I know when I come into the living room,
Mm,
Friends is on.
yeah.
She's
Well,
seen
it's
every episode 182 times, but she
yeah,
just likes the background noise as she Snapchats her friends or
yeah.
whatever what
I
they do.
get that. I get that. I think. Am I wrong to say it's probably bigger with females than it is with guys?
No doubt. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jimmy Snuka. I remember Jimmy Snuka. I remember when Jimmy Snuka came back to the WWE. I was in that meeting, and Jim and Vince had announced that Jimmy Snuka, one of the best baby faces we've ever had in this company, is coming back to the WWE. I don't know where he had been at that time, since that time,
And
but
hiding after the murder.
he had left WWE,
That's right.
right? And then this was his return back, and he still looked pretty damn good, didn't he?
Dude, he looks amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, his girlfriend didn't stand a chance. I'll tell you that.
Okay, referee down. Snook,
What's wrong? Where'd you go?
ref. That could be the line of the night. Referee down. Look, he's being pulled by his chin, and she smacked him in the ass to get him over. She pulled the referee over by the chin and then smacked him in the ass with her pocketbook to get him over there.
By the way, in case you're wondering, he had been with the AWA and New Japan.
Okay.
He finished up with the WWF. I think his last WWF show was in the summer of 1985, like June 24th, 1985. But he does eventually get back into the good graces of Vince McMahon and the World Wrestling Federation. And he makes his return here in 1989. I think that his first show back, believe it or not, was a Saturday night's main event in April, where he beats Boris Zukov in Des Moines, Iowa. That was the 21st edition of Saturday night's main event. And then he would start working with Ted DiBiase on the house shows, and that was all in late April and early May of 1989. What was your experience like working with Jimmy Snuka, and when did you start to hear of these stories that have become sort of infamous about his real life and his girlfriend?
I know. I only heard the stories after I left wrestling.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah,
so it wasn't common knowledge back then.
and not to me, it wasn't. No, no, not
Okay.
at all. And my work with Jimmy was fine. Jimmy was pretty cool, and he was very nice, very polite, and brother this and brother that, and yeah. So I only heard about those stories, and I remember saying, "Seriously, really? That never knew that." So there you go.